Good morning. How are you all today? Thank you for viewing with us, and thank you for your support and your prayers. And we're always in prayer for you all on a daily basis. And we do pray before we start these lessons, Brother Andre and myself. So thank you all again for viewing with us. Welcome to Bible class with Andre and Betty. And we're continuing our studies from the book of Judges, and today we're in chapter 17. We will be looking at personal idolatry. Idolatry is worshiping someone or something over and above God Himself. It's called idol worship, and we're going to see it displayed here in chapter 17, 18, even further, because of what the events that's going to take place. And this is still during the time of the judges. But Samson is the last judge of the book of Judges that we studied last week. The next judge is going to be Eli and Samuel in the book of 1 Samuel, and we're going to be going there next. So this is a time of confusion both in society and in religion. And so we'll see how idolatry operates in the life of anyone. We're looking at statues and shrines and images in the Old Testament, but we have to remember in this age of grace, we worship idols, and we could name many things, but anything that is more important and more valuable than God and His Word is putting that thing before we align with the living God of our hearts and lives. And so we're in chapter 17, and we'll begin verse 1. And there was a man of Mount Ephraim, whose name was Micah. And so Ephraim is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, and his name means fruitful. And so Micah was of Mount Ephraim, and he's an idol worshiper. And we'll see this play out. Verse 2. And he said unto his mother, the 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from thee, or stolen from thee, about which thou cursest, and spakest of also in mine ears, behold, the silver is with me. I took it. And his mother said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my son. And so this mother, instead of disciplining her son, she blesses him and goes even further by gonna create him an image and think that that's okay. Verse 3. And when he had restored the 1,100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I had wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand for my son. Now she's using religious words, but her actions are going to contradict whether or not she dedicated the silver to the Lord. And so she says, I had wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand for my son to make a graven image and a molten image. Now, therefore, I will restore it unto thee. So she gave him back most of the silver, but she's going to take 200 of that to make him an idol in the next verse, verse 4. Yet he restored the money unto his mother, and his mother took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to the founder of the silversmith, who made thereof a graven image and a molten image, and they were in the house of Micah. Micah had a house full, or a place set aside for all of his idols. And the stupidity of worshiping anything above God, we find in the Psalms, Psalm number 115 and Psalm number 135, what idols can and cannot do. They cannot really do anything. Reading in Psalm number 115, verse 1. Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory, for thy mercy and for thy truth's sakes. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is now their God? Verse 3, but our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols, that is, the heathens' idols, their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. And they that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. So when we're trusting in something other than God, that idol can do nothing for us and does not even want to. But this is what Micah had, a house full of graven images and molten images. Verse 5, back to Judges chapter 17. Verse 5, and the man Micah had an house of gods, and made an ephod and teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons, who became his priest. So this man, the ephod, is used in the priest's garment to ask counsel of God. And the teraphim is just an image or images. And because he's idol worshiping, he gets one of his sons and consecrate him to be a priest. So he's allowing his religion, he's doing religious things, but they end up not being according to the will or the commands of God. Verse 6, in those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes, which is idolatry. When we do things according to our own eyes or what we think, we're ignoring or bypassing God, who is the one that we should be seeking for everything. But in another place, the last verse of the book of Judges in chapter 21, verse 25, this same statement is made about the time of the judges, that in those days there was no king in Israel, but every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And the kings will not, because they're following the ways of the heathen, or the Gentile nations that God told them not to intermingle with, they have come to worshiping the idols of the people of the land. And so verse 7 says, and there was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of Judah, who was a Levite, and he sojourned there. So he lived among the tribe of Judah, but he was the son of the Levitical priesthood. So he was a Levite, but he too is going to be caught up in personal idolatry. Verse 8. And the man departed out of the city from Bethlehem, Judah, to sojourn where he could find a place. And he came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, as he journeyed. He was looking for a position as a priest, to be he didn't think he was a false prophet, a false priest, but he is, because he's looking for a place of prominence, a place where he can operate as a priest. He's looking for a position. And so verse 9 says, and Micah said unto him, whence comest thou? Where did you come from? And he said unto him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn where I may find a place. Verse 10. And Micah said unto him, dwell with me, and be unto me a father and a priest, and I will give thee 10 shekels of silver by the year, and a suit of apparel, and thy victuals. So the Levite went in. So he's a hireling prophet, a priest. Verse 11, and the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was unto him as one of his sons. So Micah really liked this young man because he felt secure, because he was a Levite, from the sons of Levi. Verse 12. And Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest and was in the house of Micah. Now the house of Micah was full of images and molten images and statues and graven images. Verse 13, then said Micah, now know I that the Lord will do me good, seeing I have a Levite to my priest. So he thinks, just because this man is a Levite, that appeases God, where this substitute that he had taken to be a priest would be a hireling prophet, and that what he had done would please the Lord. And this is what happens to us when we put people or things before our worship of God. Now, we can't even begin to worship him until we're born again, because they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So we must be born again, but when we worship him, we bow down to his will. Lord, not my will be done, but thy will be done. And anything we put before our allegiance to God, it becomes an idol. And it's not saying that you can't have some of these things, but it just means whatever you put first, it becomes your God. And an idol God can do nothing for anybody. So you all have a blessed day and a blessed week. And thank you all for listening. Bye.